Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. I'm your host Kevin, and this is an 86 Buick Grand National that we found in a barn. We've been working on this car for 3 episodes already. This is the 4th and hopefully the final. That's right, this week's goal is to finish the Grand National and get it home to its owner. I said that last week, but I mean it this time. So let's get started. So, quick refresher to those who may be new to this car. This is, like I said, 86 Buick Grand National. We found this car in a barn in northern Iowa. I've actually known about it since before I started my YouTube channel, and I've been trying to buy it forever, but the family decided they did not want to sell it. Instead, they wanted to get it running. Well, as they quickly found out, that task was way too big to take on by themselves, so I offered to come get the car, bring it down to our shop, use my own time, money, and resources, fix everything wrong with the car, and take it back to them for free. Now, believe it or not, that actually took about a year to convince them to say yes, but long story short, we got the car. When we got it, it was non-running. We did a fuel pump and some other stuff to get it running, took it out for its first pull. It made the laziest 4 PSI I've ever seen. We welded up some cracks on the exhaust, replaced gaskets, fixed a whole bunch of vacuum leaks and boost leaks and all sorts of other issues, and eventually got 7 PSI. Eventually we found that the boost controller switch was plugged with a 22 bullet. We pulled that out, redid the entire brake system, and took this thing out for a rip, at which point it finally made 10 PSI, which is pretty much stock. Stock is 12. This has got 140,000 miles on it and shot. It's fixed. So today we're gonna fix up the last few things. We need to get the radiator out and have that brazed. We need to fix some alternator wiring issues that I keep running into, and we need to clean up the interior. This all sounds very easy, but this is a G-body, which means it will develop 15 new issues throughout just cleaning the interior, replacing a wire, and fixing a radiator. And I'm sure this will be another full-length episode. But I am determined that by the end of this video, the owner is back in his car for the first time in 15 years doing smoky burnouts and boosted pulls. So let's make that happen. First thing we need to do is get that radiator out, because they gave me a 3 to 4 day lead time, and it's Monday and I want this done by Friday. So let's get that thing out right now and get it up to the shop to be fixed. There's our radiator. We'll go drain this thing, throw in the Eagle, take it up to get fixed, and get her back in when she's done. Alrighty, our radiator's been dropped off. Hopefully it'll be done Wednesday, potentially Thursday. He said he can fix the crack, but it's already been redone once before, and for something that we would want to daily drive, he would suggest a new radiator. But I don't imagine this car is going to be out more than once every 2 months and get driven occasionally, maybe twice a year. So I think that'll be just fine. It's lasted this far with a big hole in it, so how much worse could it get? Moving on to this guy. Since the last video, I've made some discoveries on this charging system. For example, I discovered that if I turn the fan, the blower motor on, the alternator turned on and worked. And I knew that because although this 90s Roadmaster alternator bolted in for the most part, like this one and this one aligned, it is missing one bolt on the back. The pulley is a little smaller, which means the belt would squeal a lot. Also, interestingly enough, I can turn the motor over with my fingers. That's good to know. So I might be missing a little bit of compression, but I mean, it's a 140,000 mile turbo car. What do you expect? Anyway, back to what I was saying. When I would turn the blower motor on, the belt would start screaming, which means the alternator would turn on. And I was gonna fire that up and show you guys that that's what's happening. But then I remembered I just sent the radiator off, and that would just spray water everywhere. So, yeah, I might have dorked myself on that one. I'm gonna dig around in the electrical and see if there's a way I can either fix what's there or, more realistically, rewire that alternator to be a different style charging system, like what the Roadmaster would have used, because it's way better. Once that alternator's fixed and our radiator's returned and reinstalled, everything here is done. In fact, most of the car is done, with the exception of this disgusting interior, and frankly exterior too, but I don't know if I'm gonna worry about that. The inside of this car is an abomination. The seats are ripped up, The dash is filthy. There's a bunch of, like, you can't even see the wood grain. I'm assuming that's wood grain. There's a bunch of mouse stuff in the back seats. The headliner finally isn't so much full of stuff because it all went in my eyes. But yeah, it's a disaster. So we're gonna spend some time in getting this cleaned up so we can at least return a clean, worn out interior when we drop the car back off. Actually, wait, change of plans. Before I pull this car out of the beautiful BARNFIND 10,000 pound 2-post lift, I forgot that I have exhaust work to do. So I threw the arms back under it. I'm gonna go under there and try to fix that rusted out down pipe. Going up. Woohoo! Good stuff. And just like that, we can get under the car. Beautiful. All right, let's get under here and see what we can do about that goodness. All right, that's done. Went pretty damn well, if I don't say so myself. I've got about 6 inches of tube that I put into the back of what used to be the kettle at a converter shaped piece of metal. And then bolted on this piece of flex pipe right here, and everything's sealed up and way stronger than it was before, and should be, if not quieter, just more distant from where you sit in the car. All these mid pipes and everything look good. Like I mentioned, our mufflers are gone. Like Iowa gone. But yeah, that's good. We don't have exhaust exiting right next to a fuel return line anymore, so I am happy with that repair. Let's go ahead and put this thing down on the ground and start cleaning the dang thing. Alrighty, some McGuire's high-tech yellow wax. We really don't care. We just want to make it shinier than it was. That's literally the goal here. We are not going for some beautiful, perfect paint finish with actual paint tech tips and what. I put wax on it. I'm going to smear it around and wipe it off. That's what's going on here today. And hopefully when we're done, it's a little more black than when we started. Well, our goal has been achieved. It's blacker than it was. Does it need buffed? Oh God, yes. Would it really do a lot? I mean, yes, but no. All right, seeing the condition the car is in, I am calling that good to go. There's a little bit up here I'm gonna do a little heavier. But I mean, as far as buffing a dent with a big scratch in it, that looks great. We'll get this done and move on to bigger and better things. I got this side of the car done. It's kind of looking like a Grand National again. Like it's black, it's not gray. You can finally tell what color this car is. My favorite part is all the rust buffed out really well. All the wax went down to protect it. It is looking great. We've owned this lift for a year now, and it never once occurred to me, hey Kevin, if you put the car in the lift, it makes it 1,000 times easier to wax because it's right here. It's at chest height. So yeah, thank you BARNFIND for just being incredible and making such a good product and a beautiful lift to make my life 1,000 times easier. We got this a year ago, like I said, and I used to have back problems last year when we got it because my sternum and I had to have a rib come out of alignment and my sternum would hurt really bad and I couldn't use my arms. It would like want to tear. We got this lift and I don't lay on my back anymore under cars for the most part, where I was doing it every single day before. Now it's whenever we're out in the field, and that's gone. It is gone. So for the price of that lift, which is very inexpensive, mind you, for what they are, that's cheaper than the doctor bills it would have taken to like fix this through like 50 chiropractor appointments. Absolutely get a lift as soon as you can in life, and BARNFIND is a wonderful company to go with. And of course they also make 4-posts, which are portable. I can put wheels under that come with it, drop the top car down, the weight of the car and the skids, lift the posts up, and I can move it around the shop. It's not bolted down. It doesn't need to be. And that is a sales point if I've ever seen one. All right, let's buff this car the rest of the way. Well, that ain't half bad.
Not bad for a spit shine.
Someone texted me in the middle of this. They're like, you can't polish a turd. I was like, no, but I can wax it. But yeah, it kind of looks like a Grand National now. A nice, deep, rich black.
More like an affordable black. Let me tell you a fun story. I might have already told you. But there I was, walking out of my factory. I work in Minneapolis now, and I was walking out, it was 5 o'clock. I step outside the door, and it's the middle of summer, I'm like, this isn't so bad. And I look out in the parking lot, there's 2 people riding bikes, like kind of through the parking lot and out. And there's this dude, he's got 2 bags on the handlebars, and he's riding. And then there's this chick, she's wearing a backpack and like 5 bags on her handlebars. They take a corner, she eats shit. And he just like stops his bike and just kind of like stands there like, damn, that sucks. And she's falling over herself, and they're both really messed up. And I stood there and watched this go down for like 2 minutes. And she was like struggling to get out from under this bike, and then once she got up, she like threw the bike and realized I need that, and she walked over and picked up the bike, and they tweaked on her way, and I was just like, wow. It was like home.
She get her cans up? Like,
yeah, she got a cancer.
Okay, well, thank you for that enlightening story out of nowhere, Angus. Speaking of Angus, I believe last week, his first ever remote episode of Junkyard Digs just went live, so you guys can go check that out if you haven't seen it already, right up here. You got a Dodge D200 running, right?
Sure did. Do we get it home? I have no idea.
Neither do I, because it actually, in real life, it hasn't happened yet, and I haven't edited it yet, so I don't know anything about it. Go check that out on last week's video. There's other people.
Tweaked?
I think we're about to get tweaked. When someone pops through that door, throw that, and then...
Stranger danger.
Yeah, you go ninja on him.
That was the surrender.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you one part French?
Oh, oui, oui. Oh, oui, oui, surrender. All right, last week's video, go check it out. Let's get back to this thing. All right, we're back. I don't know where we left off. It's been a week, I think. If you guys watched the last video that Angus just hosted, the first time we're trying that on the channel, you'll know that in the middle of that, I had mentioned that we've been working on a Jeep that we bought for 500 bucks. Well, I finally finished that thing up today. It's on the road, 100% good to go. So yeah, that's where I've been. Generally avoiding the Grand National because this car has become, as someone on TikTok said, they nailed it with this comment. They said this car is the epitome of don't meet your heroes. The other day, when we got the Jeep, I was really excited to get in here and work on it. So I fired the Grand National up and pulled it out. I forgot the radiator wasn't in it. That is one way to do an oil change and a trans flush. Thankfully I got it outside and shut down before we lost enough oil or trans fluid that it became a problem, but we definitely flushed some of the lines out. So with that being said, you'll notice that the old radiator is still here behind me, and it doesn't look any cleaner. In fact, it looks a little bit worse. Some of the fins have rotted out and fallen out. So I took it up to the radiator repair place in Story City, and he said, I am not willing to work on this radiator. It would need a new core, new tanks, and everything. I'm like, oh, so a new radiator? And he's like, yeah, and it would cost me about $550 to fix that. What? I could buy a normal Regal radiator and then put an aftermarket trans cooler in front of it for like 300 bucks. So we're gonna try to fix this ourselves. If it doesn't work, we're going to be doing that. As you can see, some of these fins are rotted out from the amount of coolant that's been running through right here because of this massive freaking crack. So what I'm going to be doing is hopefully desoldering everything around here and then cleaning it, fluxing it, and resoldering it. I've never tried this before, but that is how a radiator shop would repair it and how they are installed factory. They're just pieces. They're all soldered together. So I watched a YouTube video, I'll link it right up here. They gave a really good how-to on what materials you need to use and what type of flux and solder and the methods to do it and what kind of torch. It's all very specific for very specific reasons. That guy did a great job. Check it out right up here. And thank you to those guys for making that video like 5 years ago. Let's get our mini torch set up and see what kind of damage we can hopefully undo. So yeah, I've just been going around heating this up. and then brushing the solder right out of the joint. This is working way better than I thought. This is how they're held on from the factory, so all we have to do is reseal that factory joint and we'll be good to go. This is great to know that I can do this. I always thought, oh, the neck's cracked off. That's the brass is cracked, but no, it's just the solder. See, wait till she turns liquid, and it's gone, just like that. Now the hard part was getting the appropriate materials. You need solder paste, which is pretty easy to find, but then a high lead rosin core solder, which was the difficult part. I went to Menards, Lowe's, local machine supply stores. No one had it. And then of course, lo and behold, guess who had the mini torch, the wire brush, the flux, and lead solder all right next to each other on a shelf. Freaking O'Reilly's. Should have just started there. I'm gonna get this cleaned up the rest of the way, and then we'll be ready for some flux. Okay, we've got our surface cleaned up. Everything's looking good. We're gonna take our solder paste and just pack it in there. You can never use too much from what I've heard. Another factoid that I left out earlier that the guy mentioned in the video is you might be noticing I'm using a mini torch and you're like, well, that'd take forever. You want small areas of direct heat, because if you get too much heat right here, you have the possibility to unsolder this side tank. And that would be the big sad, which, as you know, is something we generally avoid on the channel. Alright, our paste is on. It's time to fire up the torch, grab the solder, and hope for the best. I think I need to get our surface warmer. It's not exactly pulling in. It is sticking though, which is good. A little more heat. Ooh, that's a lot more heat. That's what it wanted though. Oh my gosh, there it went. It looks beautiful. Holy crap, it's working. This is going to be better than the factory one if this keeps up. I'm not going to say this looks incredibly good. Don't toot my own horn, but this looks incredibly good and I deserve to toot my own horn. We're going to let this cool and then we'll clean it up, but just from doing this I can see that it looks freaking incredible. I wonder if I should just redo all of them at this rate. That went so well. Yeah, huge thanks to those guys on YouTube that made those videos about this. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, let's get this thing back in the car. Done. Got the radiator back in. Had to fight the fittings because they're all frozen. Got them loose, got everything tightened down. Nothing's leaking. Everything's good. I need to make a trip in the town to get some Dexcool because I don't have Dexcool because we don't do GM stuff. But besides that, radiator's back in and repaired. Before we fired the engine up, we checked the oil level and there's nothing on the dipstick because it had purged everything out. And we put a cord in and put another cord in. Put another cord in, put some zinc in, put another cord in, and then one final quart, and it was good to go. So 5.5 quarts and it's finally full, so it puked out just about everything. Now you might say, Kevin, 5 quarts, that is everything. No, it's actually not, because this car has an oil cooler and the entire radiator is full of oil, so that's got to be at least 1 or 2 quarts extra that this car is going to be pumping around. And it's pumping everything up to the turbo. There's just more oil capacity in this Grand National. So, moral of the story, we've essentially done our second oil change. It's now got fresh oil in it. So, we're going to have to do the same with the trans fluid, top that back off. But let's see if it fires up. It's been asleep for a couple weeks. Nothing got hurt, so we got lucky. Like I said, I need to get some Dexcool for this radiator, but other than that, everything under here is done with the exception of this alternator is still giving me troubles. As you can see, I need to get a new belt or swap pulleys because that one has a bigger pulley. But we need to do a lot of work on the interior of this car because it smells like mice and it's a disaster. Let's get it done. So here's our, I might have done this already, but here's our before. You can see it's dirty as hell, just nasty. Oh, Mountain Dew, I remember those cans.
Hey, stop eating the seatbelt plastic.
You gotta stop being such a heck ass and pooping on the floor. I thought we were over pooping on the floor and then you did it 3 times in 2 days, yeah? Didn't you? You stinky bastard. We're gonna get the shampooer out, the D-germ, maybe the steam cleaner if we're really feeling ambitious. and set to work on cleaning this thing up. Step one though is get the shop vac and get all this mouse nest out of here, and I think cut the headliner out. Before anyone complains why I'm ripping the headliner out of this car, that right there is why. That is a bunch of foam and like mouse piss and water damage and shit that is just awful, because you drive and it flaps around and gets in your eyes when the windows are down, and there's no way to see, so the windows are, you know, always down. When it goes back to the owner, if they want, they can have a headliner put in, but I'm not going to pay to do that because I've already dumped tons of money in this car, and once again, it's not mine. I am just doing it to help the family out and because people like Grand Nationals on YouTube. So, yep, let's get this out of here. Since cleaning the inside of a car is just that, cleaning, it can be quite boring. So we're going to make things move along here by doing a magical little voiceover. I'm going to tell you what all we found, which really wasn't much besides a lot of dead mice and a lot of mouse poop and a lot of just nastiness that had to be cleaned out. It makes sense to start from the top down, so we started with ripping out the headliner and cleaning the ceiling so there's no more foam and crap falling into our eyes and onto any clean surfaces below as we kept working. To really get all the mouse crap out, we had to get back into the trunk, which had since been relatched, so we sent Mook through the back seat to go ahead and turn that pawl and get that sucker open. How'd your splunking expedition go?
I didn't super enjoy it.
While Mook set to work vacuuming out the interior, I cleaned out the trunk and found something interesting that I definitely was not expecting. Why is there a trailer light hookup? This is spliced in. What? After a good deal of vacuuming, we had most of the loose crap off, pulled all the carpet out of the trunk, and cleaned everything up with a rag and some D-germ. At this point, all of our non-hired hired help was here, so while Coda walked around looking for somewhere to poop, Dad set to work shampooing the rear seats, and I took a stab at figuring out what the hell was going on with the taillights. After fixing a bunch of poor wiring connections and finding a broken wire in the rear harness, I was finally able to get all the bulbs in the rear of the car to glow and illuminate properly. To save you G-body guys from losing a little blood, if your right side running lights are not working, there's a connector behind the license plate to the top left corner. Check that because it's probably full of dust. While Mook and I finished putting the trunk back together, Dad was underneath the hood replacing the serpentine belt to fix that annoying alternator squeak. Eventually, we were confident that we had at least the majority of the dead mice out, so Jesse set to work shampooing the carpet and front seats. As Dad topped off our radiator with McCool, I started on our very last fix, rewiring the alternator to work as a different style charging system. However, in the middle of this, the existing charging system started working just fine, so we decided to leave it and see what would happen. While the car sat idling so we could bring the cooling system up to temp and check the radiator, Jesse grabbed the D-germ and set to work cleaning the dash and center console, which were absolutely disgusting. It was so bad that this whole time we've thought the center console was wood grain, but in reality it was actually a silver piece of plastic. Once that was done, the last step was to reinstall the back seat and get everything bolted down. For once on this car, all was going well, until it came up to temp. Alright, well, that didn't go so well. Sure enough, as soon as we put it in, we had a few leaks pop up, this being one of them. As you can see, this radiator got hit while I was out. Pretty much no parts stores can get us one of these, because they are, like I said before, very special, specific radiator. They can't even get us a normal Buick. They can't get anything to fit in this car, especially right now with all the bullshit going on. So yeah, I'm gonna get my vacuum leak tester and hook it up and blow smoke through it and see if I can seal some of this stuff, because we're out of options and extremely out of time. Well, Mook, there's something. I stripped the fins away as careful as I could, cleaned the hell out of this, and then hit it with some solder. So let this cool, we'll stand this back up, hook our smoker back up, and try it again. Doesn't really blow smoke out of the hole quite like I was hoping, but it's enough pressurized air that you can hear it whistling, and you can move your finger along and find the spot where it gets quiet. Okay, well, we ran it to the maximum pressure that we could put in it with that little like 7 psi smoke leak detector, and it would hold pressure for a couple minutes. So potentially that worked. There's only one way to find out. So let's put this back in the car, cross our fingers, and hope it works. Radiator's back in, moment of truth. I'm gonna watch for oil pressure. You guys watch for explosions inside this. That's running pretty good now. We did a relearn on the computer earlier. We put a new air filter in and got the alternator working, which puts more load on it. So it started running a little weird. Quick relearn and it's better. Still figuring out what it wants in life. But let's see if it comes up to temp and see if we leak. So this is a handy little tool known as a FLIR thermal camera. FLIR being the company that makes them. And we're gonna use this to watch when our radiator comes up to temp. It's still initializing, give it a sec. But this unit right here is about 700 bucks. It's great for home inspections. If you do a lot of work on cars, it's great for that too, for finding things like dead cylinders. Power draws, you can look at a fuse panel, see which one's hot. Then you can track down a power draw. It's generally good for a lot of stuff. Now you don't have to have the $700 model. They make one that's just over 100 bucks that goes on your phone. Plug it in your phone, and your phone is now a thermal camera. Check them out. FLIR is the name. I'm assuming it's probably like FLIR.com. As you can see, we got a bunch of heat under that turbo shield, so we got some nice cold air coming into it. Right there in the center looks to be about 121 degrees, which is the thermostat and water pump. So we should be getting close to coming up to temp. Looks like our radiator is at 104, so our thermostat's not open yet. Yep, upper hose, as you can see, is only at 78 degrees. So we're gonna wait for that to come up to temp. 14.5 volts. It's idling. We had an issue with the fan actually. We thought it turned on. I saw it spin once, but it went whew and slowed down. And I realized, I'm like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. That definitely just cooked a connection somewhere. Turns out it was the relays just needed wiggle. We had to do some rewiring on one of the temp sensors. Should be good now. We're gonna wait for it to come up to temp and test it. If it comes up to temp, that fan kicks on, we're done. I don't care what breaks after this point. We are done. Oh, it turned on. Look at it, it's gone. The fan's on. That's it. That means we're done. It's fixed. It's good. Get it out of here. Go get the trailer, load this thing up, drop this off at their house, and get some shots of them driving their car again for the first 15 years. Hell no, I'm not driving it all the way up there. That will absolutely break. Hold on. Even the relays work after the key is off. It sounds like a bad thing, but it's supposed to do that so that it cools the radiator. Alrighty, there it is. It's looking great. Oh wait, no, sorry. That's the one. That's the Grand National. You get them confused, you know, they're so similar. Alright, Mook. Should we take a quick look at the end result of our work? We've got a nice waxed paint exterior. The tires have been de-germed, as you can see. They hold that extremely well. They look brand new, even though they're like 15 years old. Here's our finished trunk, looking great. We believe they have a set of keys for this, so we're gonna shut it. That's the box of extra stuff and stuff that we took off the car. They still have their numbers matching alternator, all the brake system, all that good stuff. So here is the interior after Jesse spent a couple hours in here with some de-germ, just wiping stuff down. That used to be brown. I thought that was wood grain. Turns out it's silver. Never got the boost gauge fixed. I thought I'd be able to find one locally in stock. I could not. That's a really easy replacement. They just had to literally just pick this up and put a new boost gauge in. Our back seat cleaned up pretty nice. I've still got my vacuum gauge in here so we can see it when we're driving for the last time. And then I will cap off that port. Without further ado, let's see if this thing starts and put it on the trailer. Oh, come on, please. Yes. Thank the Lord above. Let's get it out of here, Mook. After months of work, and I don't even want to know how much money in parts, the Grand National is ready to go home. Let's do it.
How's it working?
See the end. Now he's gonna get a ticket. There we go. Thank goodness. Thanks for so many years. Well, did you get it all figured out?
Most of it.
I watch these things every once in a while on YouTube.
It's been a few months, sir. But there's your car.
Yeah, thank you. Everything thank you. It's running.
It's running.
I haven't driven it, like I said, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting right there. I didn't get it out anymore. That's my birthday today.
I saw that.
I'm 23 years old from 100 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I drove this thing.
So she's got vacuum brakes now. We had to do a fuel pump, an ignition module. We had to take the header off and weld it back up and fix some stuff. There's still a couple leaks. It's still running a little weird today. It was running better before, but I think it's the cold getting to it.
Gas
And-
gauge work right?
Yep, gas. We had a
You had to set that, because when last time I drove it, it said 13 gallons. I was going to work. I can make the whole faucet back in 13.
Yeah.
Run out of gas about 4 miles out of town.
4 miles.
Because
Yep.
it wasn't registering right.
We had to rebuild the sending unit and the pump because we couldn't get them. But it's all fixed now. Gas gauge works. Oh, and there's an engine light. This damn car is giving me more troubles.
Oh, it's
today.
got a lot of miles. So it's got
Oh,
238.
it's got a ton.
See, I bought it with 168,000. Something like that on it.
Dude,
Some
well, it's
kid-
got.
a used car
You
guy.
think it's
had it.
got 238,000?
Oh, yeah. This
Oh,
got over
my
160. This had over 160,000 on it when I got it.
Holy cow! That explains so much more.
Yeah, I bought. I traded a '69 Olds Cutlass convertible, red with a white top and white leather interior. I seen it one day when I went to train. I thought, nah, it'd be kind of fun for the youngest daughter to drive. She could get good mileage, but I never could. You know, she'd get mid-20s, high 20s, if she's going to college and back. I'd get 12 to 15.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure that out until I watched the lights go across there. Yellow, yellow, red, full boost.
It is running weird right now. It's missing a cylinder, it sounds like. Give her a little boost. Let's see what she does.
For 9 pounds of boost.
Yep, she's.
See, I had the turbo put on new. We stepped up a couple sizes.
Yep.
And then, yeah, it'd go, and then this gauge was working. It'd go up to about, we had that adjustment set for about 20 pounds of boost. This thing would fly.
That'll explain a bit, especially with 200,000 miles.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's got over 200,000. For a little motor, isn't it amazing what it'll do though? Little
Yeah.
3.8.
Yep. Yeah, and she sounds like. Yesterday we got the alternator working, and ever since that alternator started working, it started acting a little goofy, and it sounds like it might have dropped the whole cylinder now. I don't know. It hasn't done this rattly stuff before, so the majority of the work's done. There's
That's
a little
the main
fine tuning left for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get bored. Gotta
No,
get something to do.
and I can't work on it because my back is bad and my
Yep.
hip.
But it's got an alternator, it's got a fuel system, it's got new brakes all around, new lines and spots, so it's safe.
Ready to go, yeah. There's the main thing.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
I wanted to drop off a car you guys could hop in once in a while and drive
And I
without
pulled the
worry.
dash out 2 years ago. None of the lights would flash on like they should.
Yep.
And it flashed in 85. We went 85, that's back then when 85 mile an hour, everything went blank, blank, blank.
Oh, yeah.
Speedometer. Well, now it's set at 199.
You never got it to flash again, did you?
Well, I got it up to about 130 one day, just kind of putting around with it. And
around.
You know, it didn't have the best suspension. It was
Yeah.
like it was wanting to take off and fly.
Yep.
And I wasn't no pilot, so I thought, no, I think I'll slow down. They looked kind of nice when I first got it because they painted over everything black. Made it look nice. The rust was under it, especially back by the back wheels, which is
Yeah.
common for this kind.
Oh, yeah.
This model, anyway.
G-bodies for sure.
Yeah. But she has a few friends that want to cut that out and replace it.
They're gonna have their work cut out, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
It's all
It's
the
an
way
Iowa
around.
car. You know, and it
Yep.
was driven every year. It's driven through. My daughter drove it to work in Al Falls from where I live, and she lived with her boyfriend on her other place, and he took her to the hog sites all the time.
Yeah.
He worked at a hog site down by Ellsworth. So it used to being out in crappy weather, snow,
Yep, all over the place.
salt. When they put salt, because he run on the interstate a lot, when they put that salt down, that liquid. And,
Well, let's get her in here. I know Selena's been wanting to drive this car ever since
Yeah,
I heard
she can
about
take
it
it.
6 years ago. So you guys
no
in here.
brakes!
Are you ready?
Yes.
5 years in the works since we first heard about it. Or just hit it.
There'll be a bump right up here.
Right here?
Yeah. Oh, it feels a lot worse in my
New
truck.
shocks.
And this is the main street.
Gotcha. We'll go terrorize the center of town. It's definitely missing a cylinder suddenly, so that's fun. We'll take one look before we leave, but I did have an engine code pop up earlier. We could read it if I had a reader. Well, what do you think? Is it everything you hoped and dreamed for, but smells like mice?
Yeah, it smells a lot nicer. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for letting us work on it. It was an experience. I learned I do not want to own a Grand National anymore.
Yeah.
So that childhood dream went away. Oh, yep, there it is. The plug wire fell off.
Okay, that's all. That's the water street.
I was gonna say it didn't used to run this bad. I'm gonna get the shit shocked out of me.
Okay.
It's got good spark.
Good spark.
Yeah, if we ever have any questions, just call you guys.
Google it.
Boy, you'd be surprised, yeah, what you get on Google.
Alright, let's see this better. There we go. That's what we're used to.
Now it's
Here.
sitting on six. Looks doing pretty good for 5. You'll drive it
Yeah.
right.
We got on and I'm like, it's stuttering and we're down a bunch. This should be way better. But
Yeah.
there. Now we will leave you guys the fixed Grand National.
There you go.
Thank you.
Somebody just, yeah, thanks a lot for everything.
So as you can see, our audio was kind of crapping out there. The elevator was running their dryers. It was really windy. It was really cold. We just wrapped things up, said our goodbyes to the car, said our goodbyes to the family, told them thank you for letting us work on it. Like I've said many times before, that car was one that I have known about its location and kept it a secret for about 6 years because I wanted to buy it. I tried forever to buy it, and eventually I was able to at least convince the family to let me work on it. Turns out that was an absolute blessing in disguise for me because I quickly learned that Grand Nationals are not all they're sought up to be. Obviously, with anything old, today's cars are way more reliable and way more powerful and way faster. But the Grand National was a neat icon when it came out. It was doing something unique, and that's why it has a place in history. But what history won't tell you is what anyone who's worked on one of those before will tell you. A Grand National is a cheap GMG body with black paint, cool badges, and a turbo. Which again, yes, that makes it cool for 1986 and to run around and race Fox bodies in the 90s. But now that I've worked on that car, I know I'd much rather have the Fox body, which, if you were paying attention, you'll notice we have now. That's right, the next big project for the channel, now that the Grand National is gone, is to build a drag racing Fox body. This build's gonna be in conjunction with Summit Racing, QA1, Holly Performance, all the big names. I'm really excited for this, so make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned for what's coming out soon. Hoping for a lot of fun stuff this winter. One last time, a big thank you to the Johnson family for letting us work on your Grand National. I hope the car treats you guys well, and I hope that you guys get to enjoy it. And if it breaks, just Google it. Don't call me, okay? I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. If you guys need help, you're always free to ask questions. Same with all of you watching. If you have any questions, you can email us, DM us on Instagram. I do my best to answer all of them in a somewhat slightly timely manner. We'll see you guys right here next week for, I believe, a square body revival. I guess you'll just have to subscribe to find out. We'll see you guys then. Peace.